Today, I'm exposing another layer of Goliath Ventures Ponzi scheme. This time, it's not just Chris Delgado in the spotlight. His bookkeeper, Nadia Bringas the money perhaps, is right at the center of the money flow. She wasn't hiding in the background. She was signing off on payouts. She was moving funds. She was even assigned Diego's multi-million-dollar mansion deal. She even signed Diego's multi-million-dollar mansion deal. Yes, she had power of attorney. While investors are waiting for their money, Diego and his team are covering their tracks. So let's dig straight in, because if you've been following the sagas of what's been happening, this one here is a humdinger. In short, everything I'm about to say is open source intelligence. I've been investigating and digging deep. When we watched their last meeting, they keep referring to this lady called Nadia. So we did a deep dive, and it wasn't that hard to find out a whole world of information about what and who she is. And there's a real humdinger in here that you will not believe. So please stay around and make sure you do subscribe to the YouTube channel so you get the latest updates. We even put a wee button up here to make it look dramatic. Ding. Every time somebody subscribes to my YouTube channel, I like to give back. I'm not here to, I'm here to expose people who are running and promoting Ponzi schemes and scams. I'm an investigative journalist. I've been featured in the New York Times in a 2-page spread in the printed edition. And also I've been actively helping Bloomberg with an investigation of Sam Lee, which was a 10-month investigation. They produced a documentary with me and other people that I go after. This is probably one of the most easiest and the biggest scams that I have seen. The footprint is massive, and the information I'm providing is open source intelligence, which is making it very easy for me to gather my information. So I'm not going to muck around today, because this one, I woke up this morning and I thought I'm going to dig a bit deeper and see what I can find, and you will be blown away with what they have done. The bookkeeper, Nadia, plays a massive part in this operation. I'm not even going to explain what actually happened. I'm going to let you listen to these words, because you won't believe what I'm about to tell you. And if you are an investor in this company, it is time to get your money out if you can, which I doubt you can, because the company that took your investment has been closed in the state of Florida. So let's carry on and let's have a listen to this paragraph.
This is part 4 in my ongoing series investigating Goliath Ventures Incorporated and its founder Chris Delgado. I believe Delgado, styling himself as Lord Chris, is defrauding victims through a large-scale Ponzi scheme disguised as liquidity pools on Uniswap and Coinbase Institutional, promising investors a guaranteed 4% monthly yield.
Now, if you compound all your money and don't take any money out for 12 months, he's actually guaranteeing about a 60% return. So if you put $100,000 in, he's guaranteeing that he can give you $60,000 return. That's what we've worked out. That's my calculation. Do your own maths. But that's why this investment opportunity is just too good to be true. And also, I will make it perfectly clear, my opinion is I don't believe the numbers that they are saying. I believe that what they're actually doing is giving inflated numbers. So for example, we had a video out. This is my 4th video, as you've just heard, but they've got a video out stating that they've paid out $100 million worth of dividends to investors. There's no proof of that. It's just a large figure to make other people feel like they have to get involved. They also claim they have 1,500 people that they've signed up as investors, but there's no proof of that either. But I do stand to be corrected. We have reached out to Christopher. Christopher has only put a statement out on LinkedIn, which was yesterday's blog, but we still haven't been answered the basic questions that we have been asked. And now they've put out statements that I'm a YouTuber living on the bottom of the planet in New Zealand, and all of a sudden I have some form of jealousy against Chris, who I don't even know from a bar of soap. So I'm dug deep. They're threatening legal action, because that's the first thing that scammers do. Rather than addressing the basic questions from an investigative journalist such as myself, they claim that I'm jealous. Can't make this shit up, can you? Right, but let's carry on. It gets better.
Each time I peel back a layer of this operation, more evidence of deception, concealment, and outright lies emerges.
Oh, it's good to see JN back in here again. He's our, what do we call our in-house, what do they call those people in the audience? I don't know. There's people in the audience that want to cause disruption. But you can read his messages. They're behind my head. He's trying to give one for the team. But we did actually hear from JN that they were watching my video on the big screen in Chris's new house the other day. Yes, wonder how I found that information out. So you might have a few squirrels leaking information out to me, but somebody let out that they were actually watching my video on the big screen in the new $8.5 million house, which we have some intel about. But if you are an investor and you want to do your own due diligence, this isn't a matter of believing Chris and trusting Chris. This is a matter of common sense. And you really want to make your own conclusion with the evidence I'm about to show you, which we're going to read.
In this chapter, the focus shifts to Delgado's trusted bookkeeper, Nadia Bringas. Far from being a minor figure in the background, Bringas controlled payouts, verified investor funds, and signed off on Delgado's multimillion-dollar real estate deals. Her sudden move to dissolve her bookkeeping company in the same week Goliath Ventures collapsed is no coincidence. I believe Bringas is a key figure in the Ponzi scheme now imploding in Orlando, one that will damage investors across the US, Canada, and even the Middle East.
Yes, we've got ties back to the Middle East. And you heard it here right, ladies and gentlemen. Nadia Bringas has decided to shut down her bookkeeping company. Now, that happened on the 2nd of December. On the 3rd of December, Goliath Ventures Inc. also shut down their company. Now, why would you shut down the bookkeeper that's been doing all your bookworks company a day before you relaunch yourself in the state of Wyoming? Would you be trying to cover up your paper trail? Obvious. And if they do have 1,500 investors, then do they get them to all sign over that they agree to move the investment from one entity to another? And is this illegal? Well, you do your own research on that. I've already done quite a bit, and the red flags are you cannot do that. You have to pay back all the investors. So if you have invested in the company Goliath Ventures Inc., and that was registered in Florida, and you still think that you're getting dividends, the bank accounts that they are trading at will be closed down. We have appointments with people, and we're about to spill the beans. We've also put everybody into a database. So what I do is I put everything into a database, and this is my database, which is not public, but it is actively looked at by 6 different government agencies in 6 different countries, as well as reporters and news outlets. They can have access to my information. And as you can see here, if you look really closely, you'll see those little shared icons. That means we're sharing this information with government agencies. If we go into Goliath Ventures, you'll see that we've got a list of persons of interest, and your name may be in there. Now, it's all very well for Christopher or Lord Christopher Diego to put his neck out on the line, but are you prepared to put your neck out on the line? Every single one of these persons we have got a database on. These are all the people of interest. We're not saying these are guilty at running a scam or being part of it, or maybe they might just pretend they're negligent, but we have a large database. This is one of the companies. The second company is Wealth MD, otherwise known as Wealth Management Doctors. And we've found the people who are behind it. We've found the founders of these companies. This is not going away, and we have overwhelming evidence coming in from people, stuff that I can't even broadcast live on the internet. This company has already fallen because I've even put a voluntary closure on the company and obviously tried to open up in Wyoming. Why the heck would somebody do that who was running a legitimate company? You've got to ask these questions. Right. So we've got, have we covered that first bit there? Right. Shifts. Yes. So it's all about Nadia Bringas, the bookkeeper who's closed her company down. They are obviously trying to close things down. So let me read this.
Every Ponzi needs a gatekeeper. For Goliath Ventures, that gatekeeper was Nadia Bringas.
Yes, so the gatekeeper, the person they keep referring to, and you will be blown away with this blog. We've done a lot of research on this, but here we go.
Delgado's $3.2 million mansion purchase. Public records from Orange County, Florida show that on July 22, 2025, Delgado handed power of attorney to Nadia Bringas, authorizing her to sign the paperwork for purchasing a $3.2 million mansion in Winter Park, Florida. The official power of attorney document even shows 2 of Delgado's loyal Goliath insiders, Hunter Smalback and Alex Bucalo, acting as witnesses. Power of Attorney, Orange County Records, mortgage document signed by Bringas the house itself, 141 S Phelps Ave, Winter Park, FL.
Now, these addresses that you're looking at are on public records, so that's just a note there I want you to listen to. Now, the important thing here to think of is that this is public information. So the first one that we're going to look at, which I forgot, the power of attorney. So Nadia has power of attorney to sign documents. And on here, this is the document where Christopher Diego has actually given Nadia power of attorney. So this doesn't lie. This is actual documents that you can click on and view yourself. The next one, hopefully it will load, is what are we looking at here? The next one is the mortgage documents. So we can actually see that Nadia has actually, I assume this won't load for a reason. Maybe you need to click on a certain thing. We might even refresh this page just to make sure I'm doing it right. And loading mortgage documents. And voila. So here's the mortgage documents of the $3.2 million house. And at the very bottom of this, you will see that Nadia's signature. There we go. Here's all the signatures and all the names of all the people involved. It is undisputable that Nadia has signatory with Diego's permission. Next thing, here is the $3.2 million mansion. Now, I'm only making assumptions here, but you do your own research. I believe that he's bought this house for the ex-wife to shut her up because they've been going through a 2-year divorce. I don't know if that's true, but it makes a lot of sense because he lives in an $8.5 million house. Where's all this money coming from? So let's go through this. So there's your proof. You can go to the blog, the description. In the description of this video, you can find the link to the blog. So let's carry on.
So while Delgado's Goliath Ventures fails to make redemption payouts, he's quietly upgrading his lifestyle with multi-million-dollar property, all being signed for by his trusty bookkeeper Nadia Bringas.
So his bookkeeper shuts down his business, and here she is. She's got signatory on all his dealings. And now, why is this a big deal? Well, this is a big deal because at that video that I did last week, so you can see this is Diego. And it will just be me talking here for a second, but you'll get it.
All right. Good morning, everyone. How are we doing? Morning. Let's grab our seats. Thank you, everyone, for your patience.
So this was a secret recording only seen by about 40 people before I got my hands on it. And this is Diego back in February 2024 instructing his team on what to say and what not to say. And all through that meeting there, he refers to this Nadia person. And even this guy here, we have now found out who this greaseball is. Now, this greaseball that's in here has now resigned and doesn't want anything to do with the company and removed all references from his LinkedIn profile to having any dealings with them. So here's the greaseball here. And he was heavily involved, and you can see that he was standing here and he was telling everyone how wonderful it was. Have you ever seen anyone? I'm not picking on people personally, but that is like yuck, just what I'm saying. But if you go to his LinkedIn profile, and remember this guy was heavily involved, we've sent connection requests through to all these people, but they obviously don't want to know anything about it now. Only got 300 connections. But here he is on LinkedIn. If you go through his LinkedIn profile, he has no association with the company, but he was initially involved with everything at the start. And obviously back in February 2024, you can see he was involved. So we've obviously got a heck of a database building. We're looking for whistleblowers, people that want to provide us information. This is something you want to screen grab. You want to look at all the names of these people. And you think about it, if your name is on this list of persons of interest, we are going to make this very public. This is going to all those people that you don't want to know about. These are people that will go to the IRS and ask for your financials. Do you want to be interrogated by the IRS? Why does Nadia Bringas close down her bookkeeping company a day before Goliath Ventures Inc. closed down their Florida operation? We've got more screenshots and more information that you can poke a stick at. So let's carry on. So who was she? Well, this is what she said at that meeting that I was just referring to. We'll listen to these one at a time.
Here are the direct references. Trusted in a circle. Delgado thanked her personally at the event. First off, I want to thank everyone for being here today, clearing their schedules. Nadia from coming up from Fort Lauderdale.
So there's the involvement. Nadia's involved. He thanked her for coming to the event. Who is this Nadia?
Responsible for payouts. You will still be responsible for giving the spreadsheet to Nadia and Chris each month. You have to tell them who gets what. That's part of your MSA agreement.
So this Nadia lady obviously is heavily involved, even if she only has a couple of hundred people on her LinkedIn profile.
Involved in wallet distribution. I've got to get with Chris and Nadia to figure that.
Right. So Chris and Nadia seem like head of operations we're talking about here. Just my 2 cents worth.
Funds verification. The last piece is financial department action, which that is Nadia. Nadia will log into Salesforce, verify that she sees an in good order check. She's got money. She sends it on. You guys are all good.
Now, I'm thinking, any Ponzi scheme or scam, a lot of the money that comes in, imagine in this meeting that we had here, they talked about how to make sure, they were talking about how they weren't registered as a financial institution at that time. At that time, they made claims, and I'm saying these are claims, that they had given out $100 million worth of dividends to investors. So how can they do that when they're not a registered entity for receiving funds? How can they close down a company called Goliath Ventures Inc. in Florida after claiming they have 1,500 clients that they've taken money from? This is not right. And what other legal I can't even say the word, but I think you know what I mean. But what's the legal implications? I can't even say it. You'll just have to pretend I said it right. Of closing down a company before you pay back all the people that invested in that company. What's the chances of the 1,500 people that they say they have signing off and reopening in a new company in the state of Wyoming? Why have they moved from one entity to another, a different state of America? All these questions need to be asked. If you're an investor with Chris Delgado's, why aren't you asking these questions? Why is it that he accuses me of being jealous of his operation rather than answering 4 basic questions? What company can pay out 60% return over a year? If you invest $100,000 in a year, he's claiming if you let it compound and pay out that much money. It's impossible. It's stupid figures. It's a Ponzi scheme. Also, they're going after the aged people's money. They're trying to get the old people to use them to put their money with their institution, for use of a better word. Why? Well, it's simple. It's because it costs money to move your investments from one entity to another in your retirement fund. So they know that the people won't pull their money out. And that gives the Ponzi scheme a chance to flourish, because they don't want people to take their money out, because that's how Ponzi schemes collapse. They want you and their Salesforce team to promote it to people. They're lifting the bar. They have now made it, back in February, they were making it that the minimum investment was $100,000. Then they've got this Wealth MD company set up, and also the Black Block company set up. And they're now telling people, we've seen the documents, that they want the minimum investment to be $250,000. That's how Ponzi schemes have to operate to survive. And then they want people with big portfolios to come into their company. And that's the only way they're going to survive, is by getting more numbers, more money, more investors. And then they can use the new money to pay the old investors. And that's why we don't get anyone claiming they have been scammed until the money runs out. And then you hear these big collapses. So my advice to anybody that has got your money in it, at least get your principal out. If you can get your principal out, there'll be no red flags. However, the kicker is, if you read the terms and conditions or the agreement that I did in my very first blog, it tells you that anytime something malicious happens, or hacking, or anything like that that causes grief, they have 90 days to pay your money back. That is called an exit strategy. Do you get that? So he's going to use people like me, as he's going to label me as some sort of hacker, or some sort of well, they've already posted it on their LinkedIn profile. Now, yesterday, I posted my right of reply on their LinkedIn post, and it got removed. So I posted it again, and it's been removed. Chris is meant to be watching what I'm doing on the big screen in his house while he's doing his housewarming. We got the paperwork of his house in just 2 days ago. I haven't got it in this blog, but you get the idea. So it's just shady stuff all the way around. Now, I've got so excited here, I don't know if I've done this one, so we'll have to read it again.
Funds verification. The last piece is financial department action, which that is Nadia. Nadia will log into Salesforce, verify that she sees an in good order check. She's got money, she sends it on. You guys are all good.
Sounds like money laundering to me, just my opinion. Right, I'm allowed my opinion, and this is my research after doing open source research. Just what's on the internet, I found all this information. You just need to know how to dig.
From these comments, we can clearly see that Nadia was not just a background bookkeeper. She was in charge of spreadsheets, distribution, and verifying money before it moved. She was named alongside Delgado when discussing responsibility. The two were effectively tied together as the central control point of Goliath's finances. She was trusted enough to be flown in for events, putting her firmly in the leadership circle. In short, Nadia was the financial gatekeeper of Goliath Ventures. It would be astounding if Nadia Bringas, given her accounting background, did not grasp what she was doing.
Yeah. Sorry, I was trying to message to people in the chat room. Hello to all my Avengers. I know I haven't been doing much lately. I've been working hard on this one. This is such an easy one for me to go, but I just can't believe that this guy is wide open as he is. And Nadia, I'm sure she's just a small-time bookkeeper, probably got herself a 80-20 customer where 20% of her customers are bringing in 80% of her income. And I'm claiming that Diego's probably bankrolled her quite a bit, and it would be quite easy for her to get hooked into something like this to the point where she has to shut down a company. But I'm just making assumptions there. I mean, I don't even know. Nadia is very, very hard to find online. So that's where my whistleblowers can help me out. If you are on my website, you can see there's a few things that you can do. You can support me to do online investigations. You can click on support me at the bottom here, and it'll bring up a lovely link where you can donate some money for my time, which I really appreciate. I don't do this for money, but it does help me spend more time on investigations. But the other thing I was going to say, if you want to contact me, along the top of my website, you will see all these links, and this is all my social media. We also have on my website a contact page, which basically allows you to provide information anonymously. So we get a lot of anonymous tips, and we've received quite a lot from people who just want to share stuff. And we've been getting some good information. There's a lot of people out there who really have been already pitched the sales pitch from Diego's team, and they have said this is too shaky and we feel it's a Ponzi scheme, and declined. They've also shared me a lot of detail from people, and we're talking about some really high up people, some charities, the whole 9 yards. So it's been quite exciting from my perspective, if I can claim excitement, but the amount of intel I have received is just amazing. And it's also, I mean, I got told, obviously I've mentioned this a couple of times, from somebody that they were watching me do my video on their large screen while they were doing their housewarming party. I mean, for God's sake, right now in the chat room, there's a box that says you can join my live. Now, I know, Chris, if you're watching this on the big screen again at home, having another party with other people's money, click on the live stream, come on here and address what's happening. Let's carry on. Now, we are making assumptions here that it's not just a coincidence that Nadia's bookkeeping closure, which just coincided with the day before the closure of Goliath Ventures Inc. Got to get that right. It could have been a coincidence. Too good to be true, though, isn't it? There's no chance about it. There's a reason why her company shut down. It's been going since, I think, 2019. So all of a sudden it shuts down 5 years later. For what reason, wonder?
Curious timing of Bringas Bookkeeping's closure. Here is where things get even more interesting. According to Florida Sunbiz records, Bringas Bookkeeping was officially dissolved on the 2nd of September, 2025. The very same week that Goliath Ventures itself was dissolved in Florida. PDF, and guess who handled the dissolution paperwork? Harry Samuels CPA, the exact same tax accountant who signed off on Goliath's closure. Florida business records for Bringas Bookkeeping. It doesn't take a forensic accountant to see the pattern. Delgado's company dissolves, and his bookkeeper's company dissolves the same week. I believe this is Nadia Bringas and Chris Delgado attempting to cover their tracks now that they know their alleged Ponzi scheme is imploding.
So destroy the bookkeeper that had all the financials and all the paper trail. Is that what we're hearing? That's what I'm seeing. You can make your own conclusion on that one, but it's not rocket science. So you can come to, you can follow the link on the website, and you can come down here and you can see all the annual reports. And it was 2019 this company started, and you can see the voluntary dissolution, and that was on the 2nd of September. And Chris is shut on the 3rd of December. And here's the absolute, and it's the same person, Harry, which we've been investigating as well. So we want to know why that happened and why a bookkeeper who was in charge of a company that theoretically has 1,500 investors and has paid out $100 million worth of dividends, as they say. I don't believe it's 100 million. I think that's just there to be the big carrot to encourage other people to invest. Why would the bookkeepers have their company shut down? Well, shut their company down a day before. It does not make sense. So that's what we're doing. I think we grabbed that last paragraph, but just not, we might repeat
It doesn't
ourselves.
take a forensic accountant to see the pattern. Delgado's company dissolves, and his bookkeeper's company dissolves the same week. I believe this is Nadia Bringas and Chris Delgado attempting to cover their tracks now that they know their alleged Ponzi scheme is imploding.
Yeah, well, I woke up sort of this morning and I've hit the ground running a little bit, and I've chucked out this blog as fast as I could because I wanted to get this information out to people before other people invest. So you might have got your pen just about ready to sign off in the agreement that basically claims that you're guaranteed not to lose your funds to an unregulated financial company who's been taking everyone else's funds, allegedly. And you might just think, I've already theoretically saved somebody from investing $1 million with Chris. And just 2 days ago, he pledged to give $2 million to a charity. And the charity, somebody connected to the charity had phoned me and said that we just want the money in. And I said, aren't you concerned that the money that was pledged is from a company that was shut down on the 3rd of September? Oh, yeah. And I said, because what happens, these charities will get their money clawed back. So when I get the right people involved in this, and that's what we're doing at the moment, the money that he's given out to these charities will be clawed back. And that will be, so we're going to contact all the charities and make sure they are well aware of what's going on. And I don't believe this buster is going to last very long. And I reckon that's so, because here I am screwing the last few screws into his coffin. And the lady on the right there, well, that's Nadia. And she's really upset. And we will remember Chris as a scammer. And we will remember that Danny DeHeck, otherwise known as the Crypto Ponzi Scheme Avenger. And it's funny, my name's Crypto Ponzi Scheme Avenger because I got nicknamed that by the New York Times. However, this hasn't got anything to do with crypto. He's claiming that he's investing in crypto opportunity and mining, and there's no proof of this happening. And that's what we've gone and asked him. We've asked for proof of what he's doing to generate up to 60% return for people per year if they compound their interest and all this sort of carry on. There's no proof of him generating this income. The only proof that I can see is from investors, new investors coming in and giving the monies. Now, did I read that? I'm getting too excited here. I forget. I have to read it
Divorce
again.
drama in the background. Meanwhile, Delgado is in the middle of a divorce battle with his wife, Andy Delgado. The fact that Chris Delgado would give Nadia Bringas his power of attorney, I believe, shows a high level of trust. Divorce filings. But when your divorce, corporate dissolutions, and multimillion-dollar property deals all happen around the same time by a guy who is raising public funds while claiming to not be raising funds, it paints a very troubling picture.
Yeah, so we've got ex-wife's name in there, and not that one. Is it that one? No, how do we get there? So you might have to actually search, I think. Let's have a wee look at that again. Divorce filings. Some of these are pretty hard to find. Now, we did actually have, I'm going to see if we can do a search, case records. And now I have to go in there and put names in there. So you might have to do the same. So what you'd do is you'd come along here. Last time I searched, I put Chris's name. And then you put, I'm not a robot. You can do it like this if you like, I'm not a robot. And then you go search and you'll find, there it is there, divorce, civil, traffic. Amazing what you find. And there it is. Oh, she's got a speeding ticket maybe. I don't know. Closed. Pending, Christopher. Oh, I better not go down a rabbit hole. But this is how you find information about people. Unfortunately, we can't read the contracts, but also the link I gave you, you'll have to actually do a search. But obviously there's a big court case that's been going on for a couple of years. And I'm just making assumptions that he's decided to, I think I need to put in brackets in that one there, search for Diego. So if we go to Diego's and we search for him in that same box, well, let's have a look what happens there. Oh, I don't need to do that. So let's go back to search case records, put Chris. I don't know, but it'll probably be Christopher actually. So I'll just go Christopher. And then you go, I'm not a robot. I'm not a robot. And then now you can come and see, a whole lot of stuff in there. And it will be that one there. And it'll be the same document that we've just looked at. Court minutes. But yeah, I obviously can't see that information. We have to have register user account to do so. But the point being is there's obviously an active divorce that's been going on since 2023, the 11th of the 7th, 2023. And the divorce proceedings were started by the ex-wife, which was probably a good idea. So we're not implicating her in anything, but I wouldn't mind betting that Nadia is the mediator. And if she has power of attorney, then who knows who that mention is for? We don't know. So what does it matter? What are we getting out of this?
Why this matters. Bookkeepers are the gatekeepers of financial truth. The February transcript shows Nadia was central to Goliath's money flow, and the public records show she was trusted to sign multimillion-dollar real estate transactions for Delgado. When her company suddenly dissolved at the exact same week as Goliath Ventures, it strongly suggests one thing. They were trying to bury the paper trail and obscure their links to this suspected Ponzi scheme that is now implicit in Orlando, Florida.
Yeah, so this is right. The final thoughts.
Final thoughts. The pattern is undeniable. Delgado is buying mansions through proxies, giving power of attorney to Nadia Bringas, dissolving companies at the same time his empire unravels, and leaning on trusted insiders like Harry S. Samuels to cover his tracks. The deeper I dig into Goliath Ventures, the more rot I find. And now, Delgado's bookkeeper, Nadia Bringas, is squarely part of the story. I am now looking into Fabian Kumpash and Vance Fundora, who I believe played an active role in getting Goliath Ventures off the ground and are now based in Dubai.
Yeah, so if you have any intel on those particular people, it'd be great. If you go to my persons of interest, you can see that I've actually started building a person of interest. Not saying they're guilty of anything, by all means, but I also, where was the other person we had? This guy here. But when I've been busting scams in the past, what I have actually found is there's always a Dubai connection. And I think what actually is going to happen, we're going to find that Christopher jumps on his hired, rented Learjet and takes off to Dubai. And that's his escape plan. He will be sitting on a pile of money and be restricted to living in Dubai for the rest of his life. That's what happens to all these scammers. Kartish Patel, using that as an example. Bitcoin Rodney, who is now sitting and rotting in a jail, thanks to people like myself. They literally were on a one-way ticket to Dubai and got arrested in the airport on their way out. And if you go through my videos, probably the last 50 videos, you'll find a video series all on Bitcoin Rodney. And there's other people like, what do they call Brenda Chunga. I used to call her Brenda Chunda. She also was brought in by police, used for questioning, and she is also facing sentencing after pleading guilty to her connection to the $1.9 billion Ponzi scheme of Hyperverse, otherwise known as Hypercapital, Hypertech, Hyperfund, Hyperverse, Hypernation, Hypercosmos, and then Diversal. Yes, these Ponzi schemes will not go away. They rebrand themselves, they rinse and repeat. And there's no reason in my head that once this company starts getting traction, it will start rebranding itself to hide its identity and move the liability from one entity to another. Now, you may think that's a bit of a stretch with this one, but look, we've already got Black Block, myblackblock.com. That's a different entity selling the same services, but at an inflated rate to what Goliath Ventures Inc. was selling. And then they've also started up another one called Wealth Management Doctors, which might have been going beforehand, and they are also targeting the elderly and their retirement fund money. So those three entities have now come from one entity, and you will see new entities open up. So when these companies get traction, they'll start coming up with stalling techniques. They'll also be telling people not to withdraw your money, because if you withdraw the money, the Ponzi scheme falls over. But hey, look, don't shoot the messenger. I'm not trying to be a dream stealer, but I am telling you, after investigating over 200 Ponzi schemes like this over the last 5 years, every single one of them has the same flavor. Now, this might be a different milkshake, but they're all milkshakes, and all these milkshakes are just different flavors. The fundamentals is they never want to prove to you where they're generating the income from. The only proof that I can find as the crypto Ponzi scheme Avenger is that they're using new investor money to pay off the old investors. And if you're one of the seed investors, you're probably lapping it up at the moment and you don't want to listen to the truth because you're still taking the money out. Some people have told me they've already got their principal back and they have already made a profit and they think they're good to go. But that is because they have probably introduced friends and family. Now, this is not 100% correct what I'm about to say, but there is an individual out there that people believe have invested over $1 million into Chris's company. And they have gone to their friends and family and tried to pitch the same opportunity that they've invested in so that they will get a cashback. Now, what is the problem with that? Let me show you something of interest here. So let's go to the company here, and I'm going to show you one individual, which I want to show you how they're actually paying these people out. So let's go to, let's see if I can get this right. Do this live. It's always nervous when you do things live. So first of all, we go into Goliath Ventures and we go to persons of interest. Now there's a guy in here, one of these guys, I think he's an old fireman. There he is. And that's the photo I wanted to see. Now this particular guy is actually he is an old fireman. And if you look at these photos here, you can see he's receiving some plaque. And I believe that this guy is on the sales team. And he's obviously wearing the t-shirt. He's holding up the plaque, standing in front of what looks like a Porsche Cayenne, which probably is Chris's runabout. And then when you go through here, you can see how excited he is. And I believe that this award was given to him because he managed to bring in so much investor money for Christopher. And this is how they will be paying these people off. So even though this isn't directly multi-level marketing and they haven't come out with, different levels of rewards for people that recruit, all these Ponzi schemes and scams that I go after, it's all about recruiting. How can you get new investors in? When we watched the meeting that we watched the other day, and I watched this, it was an hour 50 meeting. The whole meeting was all about how to avoid and make sure they stay legal and make sure they don't say or make claims they can't, and how to avoid the honest truth of the matter when somebody's asking questions. It was breathtaking. This video that I went over yesterday was all there just to educate their sales team on what not to do and what to do to avoid the curly questions that people ask it. It is breathtaking. If you are an investor or a promoter of this, you need to stop right now. You cannot be promoting this. You need to do an investigation. Chris Delgado, I've asked you for a public statement, and I got this pathetic reply to you on your LinkedIn profile. You won't even let me do the write a reply. and you removed my messages. So if you want to hear my right of reply, I don't hide who I am. I don't remove information. I'll stop people in the chat room that abuse me every now and again because it's distracting. But if we come into here and we go to Lord Diego claims smear campaign. So this campaign that we put out yesterday is exposed. I believe this could be a $150 million scam, only going by his own information that I've read. This is not made up stuff. This is going. He claims that in 2024, he made $100 million. Well, he paid out $100 million to investors. No proof of that. They claim they have 1,500 investors. No proof of that. And now I believe, if going by his own stats, this could be a $150 million scam alert. Who knows? It could be $500,000. It could be 500 million. I don't know. I don't need to care. But anyway, in here, you can see that he posted this on his LinkedIn profile. That has gone. The post he did yesterday has gone. Was that my post? I don't know. But something's not going right there. So it's a bit of a laugh. I think I've done my dash. I think the other thing I wanted to do is click here and go to what we've got here. So we've got Goliath Ventures exposed, glossy promises, shaky contracts, and dark reality of guaranteed returns. Goliath Ventures exposed part 3, Christopher Diego, Matt Burke's Black Block, and the compliance illusion. Chris Lord Diego claims smear campaign. Goliath Ventures exposed in my full response. And today we've had Bookkeeper's Vanishing Act. Chris Delgado, Nadia Bringas, and Goliath Ventures. And that's basically it. The story is over. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the broadcast today. That was just an update. My advice to anybody is get your money out now if you can, but I'll eat my hat if you do. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys.